All right, looking at target 7.9, we are now looking at solving a polynomial by using synthetic division to obtain a quadratic. And with quadratics, we know how to solve them through factoring. So that's why we specifically want to get that quadratic. So looking at our first vocabulary that we have. Sorry, the computer's like skipping around too. A root of a polynomial. So this is just another name for something we already know of. Your roots of your polynomial are not wanting to erase today, so we're just going to cross that out. The zeros, x-intercepts, and or solutions, right? These are all the different names we have for the thing. So the root is just another name for zeros, x-intercepts, or solutions, right? So if I draw my lovely, let's say it crosses here and that's -4. -4 is your x equals -4 is 0. Your x-intercept is at -4, right? Your solution is x equals -4. The root is -4, right? These are all the just different names for the same idea, okay? So looking at example 1, solve the following by factoring. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 63. So this is going back to what we did before. Remember, when we're factoring, we always look for a GCF first. No GCF. So I'm going to draw my lovely thing. I'm adding to -2 and multiplying to -63. Okay, so the two numbers we find are 9 and -7, right? 9 times -7 is -63. 9 plus -7, no, that's wrong. -9 and 7, right? -9 plus 7 will give us -2. So we have x minus 9 times x plus 7 is what equals 0. And since I'm solving, I'm going to do x minus 9 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. Add 9 to both sides, x equals 9. Subtract. Done, right? So this is just a quick review. This one has a typo. Please change this to a 4. Okay. That really doesn't work. Okay, so again, 4, 17, and 15 do not have any sort of GCF, so we can't do anything there. But we're adding to -17, and here we're going to multiply to 4 times -15, which is -60. And our two numbers we're going to get is -20 and 3. Now remember, since we multiplied by this 4, we now have to divide by 4. So we now get x minus 5, and here, remember, we slide it out. So x minus 5 equals 0. Add and add. X equals 5. 4x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract. Now we have 4x equals -3. Divide. X equals -3/4. Okay. All right, so that was our review, another review of factoring as we get into what we're doing now. Now, if x equals 5 is a 0 of this, find the remaining zeros using algebra. So I can't factor something that has a cubed. We can only factor quadratics. But I already know one of my zeros. So all I'm going to do is divide out the 0 I already know. Okay, so I'm just going to take that first one away, and then whatever I'm left with, hopefully I can factor that. So I have 3, negative 13. I am already given x equals something, so I don't have to set it equal to 0 and solve for it, right? Bring down your 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times negative 1. Okay. This is good. Check. If I'm telling you it is a 0, or if I'm telling you it is a factor, you know you should get a 0 as your remainder. Okay? Now, this is where this part becomes really important, right? So now I need to figure out what this remaining quadratic is. I have 3x squared, because I dropped my degree, plus 2x minus 1. Okay? This is equal to 0 just because I'm solving it. Then factor. So I'm going to do the same thing, right? Here I'm adding to 2. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And that's what I'm multiplying to. Well, that's going to be 3 and negative 1. Since I multiplied by 3, I have to divide by 3. So I get x plus 1, 3x minus 1 equals 0, right? X plus 1, 3x minus 1. Subtract. Add. Again, if you see your shortcuts between here and here, it is okay to use them. But again, I only use them if you see them yourself. I don't teach the shortcuts. Okay, so nothing new here. We've done this synthetic division. We've done this solving, right? We're just putting them together. Let's look at our next page. Okay, now I have 2 of them. If x equals 3 and x equals negative 4, that should say r zeros of x to the 4th minus 5x cubed minus 15x squared plus 83x minus 60. Find the remaining factors. Okay. Should I just change that to find the remaining zeros? Okay. Starting with zeros, so I'm going to find the zeros. So again, I'm going to start with my synthetic division. So I have 1, negative 5, negative 15, and negative 60. X equals 3. Okay, now I'm given 2 zeros in this one. You just have to choose one first. So we'll do this one first. So I'm going to put the 3 on the outside. 1 times 3 is 3. That's negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 21. 3 times negative 21 is negative 63. That's 20. 3 times 20 is 60. And that is 0. So we want. So that's good. Now, if I were to try and factor this, it only goes down by 1. So now this is x cubed. Still can't factor an x cubed. I need a quadratic, an x squared, in order to factor. So we do it again. Now I'm going to do my second one. You could switch it into your variables and then switch it back into coefficients. My favorite way is just to draw another box with the -4. I'm just going to do it again. I divided out the first one, and now I'm going to divide out the second one. -4 times 1 is -4. -2 plus -4 is -6. -4 times -6 is 24. Something's wrong here. Hold on. Okay, so I know there's an error because I know this isn't going to get me to 20. So I looked at the graph real quick, and if it will work if I change this to 13 and this to 77. So I'm going to quickly make those changes. Okay. So then this gets us -19. 330 plus 27, this gets us -57, which gets us 20, which gets us 60. So I just make that quick change. This problem's going to work. I apologize for the error and not catching it sooner. Okay? But now this will work, I promise. Okay, so now we have -19 plus 24, which is 5, and now -4 times 5 is -20. And that gets us 0, which is what we want. And that's how I knew there was an issue, because it wasn't giving us a 0. Okay, I promise to double check all tests and activity and questions to make sure they work. All right, so now I have this. Now this is going to be my quadratic. So that's 1x squared minus 6x plus 5. And we're finding zeros, so we got to set it equal to 0. Factoring, I'm adding to -6. I am multiplying to 5. And that should be -2 and -3. A negative times a negative. Wait. No, I added and multiplied to the wrong thing. That's going to be -5 and -1. -5 times -1 is 5. And -5 plus -1 is -6. We don't have to worry about dividing by anything because there's nothing in front of x. So x minus 5. Okay. All right. Now, looking at example 4, x minus 1 is a factor of x cubed minus 13x plus 12. Find the remaining factors. Okay, so I'm still going to set it up the same way, being careful that this is x cubed plus 0x squared minus 13x plus 12. All right, so I have 1, 0, -13, and 12. The other thing I have to be careful is now we're given a factor. So x minus 1 equals 0. One times 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. -13 plus 1 is -12. 1 times -12 is -12. And we do get 0 there. Okay. Switching it over to my quadratic, I get x squared plus x minus 12. We are adding to 1, multiplying to -12. 4, -3. I get x plus 4, x minus 3 equals 0. Now, this question is specifically asking me for factors. These are my factors. I am done. Okay, I don't have to solve when it's just asking me for factors. Okay, we are going to stop there. We're going to do this last example in class. I believe that's the last one. Yep. I want to double check that it works so that we don't get into what we did for example 3. Okay, and it's always good to do one in class, clear up any misconceptions. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.